The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Pollard streaks in. Touchdown. Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, John Machota, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's time for a Say It With Your Chest Friday here on Talkin Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. Good morning, Cowboys Nation. It's time to talk about the boys.
It is.
There's a lot to talk about.
Unfortunately.
There is a lot to talk about. Before we get into it, and I don't want to waste a ton of time, I just want to comment on Isaiah's shirt. If we can get a one shot on this shirt here.
Oh, you're talking about this whole thing right here?
Talking about that thing right there. Yeah, sit up straight. You've got Micah Parsons on the left, his football card. Really cool looking shirt. Mm-hmm. On the right, it's the Mud Dogs and linebacker Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher.
Who's better is what the title is over the top.
You do it too good.
Who's better? Who would you rather have, Micah Parsons or Bobby Boucher?
Hey, only one has a ring.
And who's that?
Bobby Boucher.
He does have a ring.
I mean, when you think about it, both of these guys are dominant. I mean, when they're on the field, teams fear them.
That's true.
I'm just saying, Kyle.
It's true.
I mean, when you thought about one dominant football player in all the movies that you've ever watched, who do you think about?
I think about Willie Beeman first.
Willie Beeman was nice, but he wasn't dominant at first.
Boucher.
Yeah.
And I think about Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher was a dude.
Oh,
he was a
also,
dude.
Dwayne The Rock on The Game Plan. Y'all remember that movie? Whenever he was playing quarterback.
I do, yeah.
And he just didn't pass to his receivers.
But whenever
He just runs through people.
Whenever I visualize Micah Parsons chasing down quarterbacks, I literally think about Bobby Boucher like chasing him the whole way. That's what I envision. So I don't know. That's how my mind works.
Can Bobby Boucher play boundary corner?
I'm not really sure.
You like that segue?
I did. Yeah, he could poke you in the eyeball though.
Okay,
Captain Nathaniel.
So now that
Shador.
the fun is out of the way and we've had some fun, let's turn our attention to the not so fun.
Yeah, let's not have any more fun.
Yeah, Trevon Diggs.
Try to put a smile on everybody's faces.
No, I agree. It's a Say It With Your Chest Friday. We're supposed to come in with energy, but this one stings.
Yeah.
It stings. Yeah, if anything, it hurts. Trevon Diggs out for the season. Torn ACL during practice yesterday. Not exactly what we anticipated from open locker room yesterday. The news rained down at about 2 o'clock Central Time. And, of course, the ensuing reports were not good for Trevon once they saw him on crutches in the locker room. Nick, you were in the building yesterday just as much as a lot of the media was. I mean, what was the overall feeling of what happened?
Yeah, I'll just kind of walk you through from my perspective what happened, or at least here inside the building. Caught wind of it. It was his practice was still going on. Heard that Diggs had limped off and didn't look great. And then, me and Patrick Walker, former Talkin Cowboys co-host Patrick Walker, trying to dig on things and found out that it probably wasn't great. We were told it was bad. He asked a certain person, good, bad, or really bad, and he was told bad. And so we're going into this whole deal with caution for sure. And then saw Trevon Diggs on crutches walking past the locker room or hopping past the locker room during the open locker room portion for media. And then wasn't too long after that he had his MRI and confirmed that it was a clean ACL tear on his left knee. Very unfortunate. I mean, especially when you look at practice injuries that have happened so far this season, just since the season has started with Tyler Smith, and then I'm sure we'll get into it, but Tyler Biadasz as well tweaked a hamstring yesterday. So this is pretty devastating. It doesn't put the Cowboys out of contention for anything that they were already in contention for. Like, don't get me wrong. If anything, it just puts the secondary right back in the same exact situation that they were last year, except Stephon Gilmore is now that reliable corner on the outside instead of Trevon Diggs. But it's going to be kind of a rotating door until you figure out who is going to be the reliable guy on that boundary. I mean, that's something we'll get into too. I think that's a fun conversation. But for Trevon specifically, man, it's really tough. I mean, not only was this week his birthday, he was planning on going to Beyonce last night. night. He had a suite rented out for him and his friends, and his day just didn't go as he planned. And so I guess the bright news that you can take away from everything, it was a clean tear, and that's what doctors prefer whenever they go in for the surgery. So hopefully that'll help for a speedier recovery. He won't be back this season. There's no way he can, but should be ready in time for training camp next year. And just kind of knowing Trevon's mentality, I think that's very realistic that he'll be ready to go day one in Oxnard next season. But even if the Cowboys are able to go and eclipse this journey and Carpe Omnia sees everything, it's still going to be a little bit of bittersweet in the back of your head knowing that Trevon Diggs wasn't on the field for this journey.
Yeah, there's really not much more to add to that. It sucks, man. Injuries suck. I definitely feel for him. I've had my fair share of injuries, things that have put me out for a lapsed period of time, and ACL's nothing to scoff at. I mean, it's a real injury. It's not one that necessarily, technology in the medicine field has necessarily improved upon, astronomically. You still have to wait, a period of time, and you still got to go through the downfalls and the mental strain and the dark places. So definitely prayers up for him and his journey back. It's going to be a frustrating one. He's going to need a ton of support. I don't know. I guess I was going to say if it does help in any regard that it's happening now, so he can actually still feel a part of the team. The worst thing is like when this stuff happens towards the end of the year, and then everybody leaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody leaves, and you're just there with the trainers every day doing your thing. Everybody's traveling around the country and different, going on vacations and kicking it and doing all the stuff, and you feel super isolated, at least during the year. I'm trying to find the positive in it, right? At least during the year, you're in the meeting rooms, you're with your boys, you're walking past them in the locker room, you're still seeing your guys every single day. And that's going to take up a good portion of his rehab.
Yep.
He's going to be in the mix for a good portion of his rehab in the building with everybody else in the building. And that helps. And I know people are going to probably say I'm crazy, but trust me. It helps when you have everybody else around you versus you just being isolated.
And to that point, fortunately or unfortunately, he's not alone in the fact that he's recovering from a torn ACL. He's the fourth torn ACL since the start of training camp. You got rookie tight end John Stevens, rookie linebacker DeMarvion Overshone, and then rookie receiver David Durden, all of them recovering from torn ACLs. We've kind of seen John Stevens really early in the morning getting work out there. It looks like he just had surgery, and then DeMarvion Overshone just had surgery this week as well. So maybe similar timelines if Diggs is able to get the surgery done in 2 or 3 weeks once the swelling goes down.
And I think this is it's a shock not only to Trevon because of the way that he was playing. I mean, he was going, at least through the first 2 weeks of the season, was playing his best ball. He was playing his best ball as a coverage corner. He was playing his best ball as a takeaway machine. I mean, he forced a fumble in week 1, had an interception in week 2. He was trending in the right direction for his career best year. And this is talking about a guy who had 11 interceptions 2 years ago.
Yep.
Had 11 picks 2 years ago, and he was playing his best football. That's how good he was. Even Mike McCarthy saying it this morning said it's just awful. He was just playing off the charts, and that's the way he practices too. Obviously a big blow. Your heart goes out to Trevon. This is our first big shot of adversity. This is a real punch to the gut. And a lot of fans out there might have questions on how this happens in practice. I mean, you mentioned it already. Tyler Smith going down. Tyler Biadasz a little banged up. Trevon Diggs going down in terms of just practice alone. Donovan Wilson, first practice of training camp. I mean, it happens. Practice injuries do happen, but it's a reoccurring theme this year. Mike McCarthy talked about that this morning, too, and I'm reading this straight off of John Machota's Twitter. But he said this is on the one-on-one drill that Diggs was doing whenever the injury happened. It's a skill development that always goes on, especially with limited time in training camp. One-on-one drills are something that defensive backs and receivers need. Everything you do in the passing game is based on time clocks, so those reps are necessary. Not doing red zone one-on-one. I don't see that drill as a high risk itself. It's just one of those unfortunate things that happen when two guys are competing for the ball. That can happen in any drill at any time. So that's McCarthy's thought process. So if you're a fan out there and you're saying, what are these guys doing in practice? It's nothing different than what they've done in practice throughout their careers.
Injuries happen, man. Just injuries happen. There's nothing. I get it. I mean, it's just a bad run, right? I mean, you talk about 4 ACLs on one team. Your eyebrows kind of if your eyebrows don't raise up, then something's probably wrong with you. So you definitely perk up and try to figure out, okay, what's going on? Is it our training? Is it our workload, and maybe it's not enough early on? Like you question everything whenever you have that consistent of an injury issue across the board. Talk about receiver, tight end. We got receiver, tight end, cornerback, and what was the last
Linebacker.
one? And linebacker. I mean, it's crossing the board now, so it's not position specific. So you do start questioning what have you done this offseason that's different than any other year? What have you done in terms of training camp that you haven't done any other year? So you definitely go back and you do your homework. That's the strength staff, that's the rehabilitation staff, that's the the dietitians. Everybody's going to go back and figure out, okay, did we do anything different? Yeah. Is it our surfaces? Is it the cleats? Is it like what is it? I mean, you have to go back and unveil some things, but injuries happen. Injuries happen. It just sucks. You don't wish it upon anybody.
No.
It's a part of the game.
It really is. And I think another side of this too for Trevon is he was a key member of possibly one of the best defenses in NFL history. We've talked about it. That is a potential. We're 2 weeks in. Yes, I know we're only 2 weeks in. There's a lot of football left to be played. But based off of what this team has done through the first 2 weeks, what the expectations were coming into the year, there was a ceiling for this defense that is an all-time great defense with the Legion of Boom, with the 70 Steelers, with the 85 Bears. They have a chance to be that good. This defense does. Even without Trevon, they can still get to a generational type defense. I completely believe that. They still have an elite level pass rush. You have more depth in the secondary than you ever have in this building, I would argue ever in general. The one thing that really hurts, though, as football fans, not just Cowboys fans, but football fans, is the fact that even if they do reach the ceiling of being categorized as a generational defense, they're still not reaching the ceiling they would with Trevon Diggs. It's still never going to be as good as it could have been because Seven's not on the field. And that's what I think hurts the most, at least from a team standpoint. Of course, you're hurting for the players. Trevon Diggs, prayers up, and there's a lot of people throughout the league, including guys on the Eagles, former players, current players. Doesn't matter along the way. Everybody is saying the same thing. Prayers up to Trevon Diggs, and everybody feels for the player itself. But as a team and as a fan base, this is a defense that has a chance to be absolutely legendary, but it's still not going to be as good because Trevon Diggs is not on the field. And that is you feel robbed as a football fan in doing that.
Yeah, and I think you're going to really feel the pain of him not being in the game whenever they have to go up against these really talented receiving corps that have a big body guy that would be perfect for Trevon Diggs to match up against. First team that comes to mind is Philly. A.J. Brown, being able to line up on him and just put a body on him. And, Gilmore has the opportunity to do that, but you also got Devontae Smith to cover, and you also got Dallas Goedert to cover. I mean, there's other guys to cover too.
It was already a challenge.
It was already a challenge for sure, but that just takes it one step back, and you just kind of got to readjust from there. But Deron Bland sounds like he's going to be the guy that moves out the boundary. Jordan Lewis, he's ready to go. All right, let's go, man. So he's going to go right there in the nickel, and he's going to get his full workload, I assume, as early as this week, and we'll see how that goes.
Do you feel like you need to go get somebody else?
Not right now. For a couple of reasons. Let's say Deron Bland does not work out on the boundary. You have Nashawn Wright that's going to be coming off the IR here in a couple of weeks. That's an opportunity to try out. You also have Noah Igbenogany, brought him in. He's a boundary guy that you can try out in that place as well. They have three guys that they can play with to put at boundary and see if one of them can be that reliable option. I think it's very worthy for Deron Bland to be able to be the first guy to get that opportunity just because of what he was able to do last year, stepping in at nickel and having that kind of opportunity and being able to seize it. And now that Jordan Lewis is here to take his job back, Deron Bland, he could just move right over. And man, if he could be a safety net at boundary and plays just as well as he did in the nickel last year, man, sign that man. Yeah, extend that man.
I completely agree. I think, man, you look across the board in terms of the depth at the secondary. Any other team in the NFL loses an all-pro corner, all of a sudden you're saying they're done. They're toast. They're going to have some depth issues. Corner's a lot like offensive line in ways where the depth isn't always there. I mean, it's hard to find really good shutdown corners. Mm-hmm. Stephon Gilmore is going to have to step up too. And he's on the back end of his career. He's not playing, of course, at the same level as he did when he was a defensive player of the year, but he is a solid corner one. He has been a corner one throughout his career. So he's going to have to step up and fill that role initially. But behind him, I do have confidence. I think DeRon Bland might play better on the outside than he does on the inside. Jordan Lewis looks healthy coming back from injury. I'm excited to see him get some reps, and I think it all just kind of fits into place based off of the way this roster was built and based off of the investment they've made at the cornerback position.
Yeah, I would base it off of I need to see Nashawn.
Yeah.
I really need to see Nashawn. I believe that DeRon Bland is very capable. I think he's obviously an excellent nickel corner. Obviously, Jay Lou's back, so that obviously cuts down into his reps. So he has the versatility to bump out. But is that what I believe that he does best? I don't think so. I don't think that's his most effective position. So I think you need, for a Dan Quinn style, I think you still need the long, lanky guy. And so I think, that's not taking anything away from DeRon Bland at all, but he just doesn't have the size of a Trevon. He doesn't have the size of a Nashawn. So we need to see how Nashawn comes back and the impact that he has or doesn't have. And then from there, I think you have to make your decision on whether or not you need to bring in an additional guy, because to your point, the teams that you're going to have to beat have multiple people, and you're going to need multiple people. DeRon Bland is probably going to need to be on the inside when you go out and dime. You're going to need him on the inside. You're not going to want him on the outside. You're going to want him and Jay Lou, guarding whoever it is on the inside, and you want some bigger guys on the outside, Gilmore and who. So if Nashawn comes out and takes care of business, then all right, the box is checked. But you still, there's a couple guys that are in free agency that are going to be higher dollar guys. Obviously, the price always goes up whenever teams are in need. Mm-hmm. There's probably a guy that I would take a peek at that most Cowboys fans probably would not want to hear. But I think,
is it?
I think Byron.
Oh, that was not who I was expecting.
That's what
I don't think Cowboys fans would be as upset about that as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought
he
you were gonna say
played
Anthony
well
Brown.
here.
Anthony Brown went to San Fran this week.
Yeah, but he got released.
They released him already? Well, that's not a good sign.
Released him yesterday.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
So, I would say Byron Jones. So my initial thought was AB, but he got picked up a couple of days ago, being released that quickly.
Yeah.
It's not a good sign.
There's a couple names out there. Kyle Fuller, I believe, is still out on the block. Casey Hayward's out there
I'm
too.
talking about just like the
I wouldn't mind
athleticism.
Casey
Some of those guys are older.
Yeah, for
Some of
sure.
those guys are older, right? You talking about Byron Jones. I think he's still just 30.
Yeah.
He has the size, athleticism that you
back.
want, right? And I don't think that he left on bad terms. They weren't going to pay him the way he wanted to get paid. So I think probably in the front office, I think he's probably in still good graces there in terms of athleticism. He's a Dan Quinn-ish type guy. He's explosive. He's tall. He's fast. I mean, he has all the attributes. Now, can he still get out of his break? I don't know. That's what they have to bring him in for a workout for.
You got three guys here in the building that I'm confident in one of those three being able to
step
work
up.
out.
Yeah.
And I think the wild card is Izzy Mukwamu as well.
Yeah.
So you really have four guys that
Yes, you do.
you can play around with. And I mean, you can play around with these guys until week 8, week 9. I mean, you have time.
Yep.
And being up 2-0, that definitely helps. It helps this situation as well. But
You do have an available roster spot.
for sure, would you rather have it to throw in at corner when you have those guys to play around with, or would you rather put it at offensive line, linebacker? I think that's going to be probably the biggest discussion with this front office. What do they do with that open spot now?
That's a good point.
By the way, I'm looking back over Byron Jones. I was wondering why I haven't heard anything of him recently, but Byron Jones medically retired from the NFL. So, yeah, he's unavailable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he tweeted a couple years ago whenever he stopped playing after 2021 that he can't run or jump. Like that was I remember that now that I'm thinking about it, and I went back and looked at it. It's got the tweet, and basically he said, I'm done. I'm out. So
We're so bad at our jobs.
No, I mean,
we just haven't
No, you're right.
talked about Byron Jones in a couple of years.
I mean, sometimes, guys, I'm not going to, I'll leave it alone.
But
Sometimes guys say things to get themselves out of
certain situations. Okay. I mean,
If that is
a
true, I
tease.
feel bad for Byron Jones. If he can't run or jump, especially how far he can jump, we were just talking about Byron Jones's broad jump yesterday during
incredible.
practice. It's world renowned.
Yeah, world record, right?
Something like
Wasn't
that.
it like that?
Something
But
like that.
either way, I think there are options. I think there's options in the building, kind of like what Nick is saying. But if those don't work out, you do have options outside.
For sure.
of the building.
Yeah, no, you definitely give those guys the first right
At least give them a look. Maybe you kick the tires. You bring in a couple of those names that are
You take a peek at them.
available.
I mean, they do that weekly anyways. I mean, every team's bringing in guys to take a look at them and see what they look like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens naturally. Now, they don't have to sign those guys, but they're always that front office is always, the scouting department is always bringing in more talent, trying to see, hey, that's why I tell people all the time, like, this is one of the most stressful jobs you can have because your job's always on the line. And you wonder why why players in the NFL always want to get their guaranteed money. Well, it's because you're seeing guys come in by the busloads every week trying out on the field, trying to take your job.
NFL, not for long.
Not for long.
Not for long. Well, again, best wishes to Trevon Diggs.
Yeah.
Hopeful, speedy, efficient, quick recovery for Trevon Diggs. And I want to see Seven back out on the field better than ever. I believe he will be. Yep. You even ask his teammates. Parsons said it. Curse said it. There's been a lot of reaction around the league and, of course, in the building. And there's a lot of support for Trevon Diggs and what he brings to the table. He'll be a Cowboy for a long time. This is just one step in the adversity, one step in the right direction. Every day from here on out will be a good thing for Trevon Diggs. All right, when we come back, we'll give you our players to watch for the Cowboys and the Cardinals. It certainly changes now with Trevon's injury. Plus, we'll give you some weekly over-unders to look at and what we think you could possibly talk about in terms of being the best and smartest in the room come Sunday afternoon. Then, of course, our Pick'em segment coming up a little bit after that. You're watching Talkin Cowboys on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't stop banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
This portion of Talkin Cowboys is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official super trusted superfood oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, Quaker Oats. Back here on Talkin Cowboys, Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris. I'm Kyle Yeomans as we take a look ahead to week 2 with the Arizona Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. We'll have our pick'em segment coming up in just a couple moments. If you want to be our guest picker this week, 888-855-2297. That's again, 888-855-2297. Give us a call and we'll have you on in that final segment. All right, Nick Harris, I want you to talk players to watch. I want one on both sides of the football. We'll start offense. We'll go give both offensive players to watch, and then we'll switch over to the defense.
I feel like I know who his offensive player is, and I don't want to steal it from him. So I'm going to take Brandon Cooks.
You're a liar. That's mine. I was going to take freaking freak, man.
Brandon Cooks. I think he has a big day on Sunday.
Wait, who'd you think his guy was?
I thought your guy was going to be Tony Pollard.
Ooh,
yeah,
man. Yeah. Nick's 0 for 3.
Yeah. It's tough these
Can't wait to
days.
hear what that board looked like from last week.
Oh, yeah. It was better than last week for me. But no, Brandon Cooks, I'm going to go ahead and say it with my chest. He has the most receiving yards in the entire game on Sunday afternoon. Brandon Cooks, I think he has
Leading
his first big day.
receiver. What? Isaiah just poked in your shirt.
Yeah, I
gave you a side eye.
I think he has the most yards of any receiver on the field. On the defensive side of the ball,
Well, real quick, I'm going to start with the offense on both sides, but I want to ask a follow-up on Cooks first. I mean, so you're saying he's completely healthy, no questions, he's going to be good to go on Sunday?
he's going to play on Sunday, as far as I know.
Okay, there you go. Who's your offensive guy?
He's a thief. I was going to go with B. Cooks because of how much zone these guys play. I believe that the over routes are going to be Cooks' best friend this week. But since you took him from me, I'm going to go with let's go with Hen Dog.
Peyton Hendershot?
Hendy.
Okay.
Hen Dog. I think he has his I need to rephrase that one. He has his party. He has his party. Yeah, he has. It almost came out of my mouth there, Kyle. He has his party. Yeah, everybody's gonna find out exactly who 89 is this week.
Is he going to rushing or receiving?
Oh,
Touchdown?
receiving. Yeah, the middle of the field is gonna be booty butt naked open. There's a lot of gaps in his zone.
And you didn't hold that one back?
Nah, booty butt naked is
That's
fine.
like his thing.
Booty butt, the other one was gonna get me in trouble. I was gonna be in the principal's office.
You're talking to a man that's wearing a Bobby Boucher shirt currently.
Oh, man. I like those two. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Hen Dog. It's Friday, baby.
I love it.
It is Friday.
This is like the third goofy Friday we've had.
Hey,
We need to change the say what we
look
said,
at your
honestly.
shirt now. I might have to add him to this shirt.
You would throw Charles Haley on there?
Charles Haley
Who
on
would
here.
you rather have?
Ooh.
That was fun.
Bobby Boucher.
Boucher.
Okay. My offensive player to watch actually comes on the offensive line. Tyler Biadasz. We didn't get to talk about him in the opening segment because Trevon Diggs news, of course, dominated the headlines. But Trevon Diggs a little banged up with a hamstring. Nick, what are the... you got a question?
Tyler, you said Trevon.
What?
I think you accidentally said Trevon.
You said Trevon Diggs. You mean Tyler Biadasz?
I meant Tyler Biadasz. No, sorry. I was saying because Trevon Diggs headlines dominated the first segment. Didn't get to talk about Tyler Biadasz's injury at a hamstring.
I'm concerned. I don't know the severity of that. I do question, though, who is the backup center?
Brock
Hoffman
or TJ Bass. TJ Bass has been getting a lot of center reps during practice. So if I had to bet, it would be Bass just because they can't elevate Hoffman again without dropping him and then signing him to the active roster. They've already used his 2 activations. So my guess would be TJ Bass.
Okay. Do you know the severity of the Tyler Biadasz
Does
injury?
not sound like it's going to keep him out on Sunday. Mike McCarthy talked about it this morning on the Fan. I don't remember the exact quote, but he felt good about him playing Sunday.
That's good. But still one guy to watch because if he's banged up and he's not necessarily playing well, you need Tyler Biadasz to perform in the middle of that offensive line.
No, you absolutely do. I think that's definitely somebody to watch if he touches the field. I do get the bubblies. That's why I'm drinking my green tea. I get the bubblies.
Black Rifle coffee?
Absolutely. They need it. I'm looking. Where y'all waiting? I get the bubblies because hamstrings don't heal in 2 days.
They linger.
If you hurt your hamstring enough to where you have to vacate practice, that's probably not healing in 2 days. So I'm concerned. I'm truly concerned as to the severity, and then even if it is playable, because I've played on tweaked hamstrings before, you're not 100.
I mean, we were told it was not even close to the severity of Tyler Smith's, and it only kept him out 2 weeks.
That's good. Just the one thing that scares me kind of along with Isaiah is the fact that there's not a whole lot behind him.
For sure.
Tyler Smith, you could at least plug in multiple guys. You could plug in Chuma Edoga. You could plug in TJ Bass. Not saying those guys are the equivalent of Tyler Smith. Of course not. But you have guys. At center, you got the same guys that you would put at guard, but a little out of position at center. And it's one of 2 positions that touches the football on every single play.
Zach Martin center.
Just push him over. That would be actually really interesting. That sounds like something you would put on Madden. You would do in the middle of Madden. All right. Defensive players to watch. I'll let Nick start. Or actually, you know what? Nick stole Isaiah's offensive
You're a thief,
player.
sir.
Yeah, go ahead and steal mine.
I'm gonna take Isaiah first.
Steal mine.
J. Lou.
Dang, you didn't steal mine.
That's a good one.
Yep, got to keep your eye on J. Lou. Obviously, they worked him into the system a little bit last week. I'm trying to get his feet wet, trying to make sure that there's not too much demand coming back to the game. But I think that he's going to have opportunity to get his feet all the way wet, right? He put his toe in the water last week. Now he got to go at least ankle deep. At least ankle deep to figure out exactly what that temperature is like. So I foresee him having a relatively good game. He's going to have plenty of opportunities. However, he will be tested. He will be tested because these guys have the go juice at the receiver position. They're 4-3 across the board. They're going to get up and go. And, you're really hoping that your defensive line continues to play like they've played. But these guys can get down the field quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah, I obviously the secondary and especially DeRon Bland filling in for Trevon, I think that's a huge thing to watch on Sunday. But I'm going to stick with my guns here, what I would have said yesterday, and say DeMarcus Lawrence. There's a really big opportunity for him this week to get active in the run game once again, going up against a first-round offensive tackle in Paris Johnson, being able to fight him off and stay active in the run game. I mean, if this offense finds any success on Sunday, it's going to start with Josh Dobbs and James Conner getting going in the run game. Josh Dobbs.
Who's that?
Josh Dobbs with like 74 rushing yards.
74.9?
And then James Conner getting active as well. James Conner, fresh off a 100-yard performance, he's actually looked pretty efficient so far this season. So DeMarcus Lawrence getting active in the run game. Yeah. I think he's the best run defender on this team. So getting him going.
Can you remind the people what to keep an eye out for this game? What's on the line?
Yeah, so I think there's a bet on the line. Joshua Dobbs, who set a career high last week with 41 rushing yards against the New York Giants. Isaiah believes because of the scheme, because of the structure of the offense, and because of the way things could go in this game, that Joshua Dobbs would have 75 yards rushing. Have 75 yards rushing. And if he does do that, Nick has agreed graciously to wear all pink.
Ooh!
And a fluffy tutu.
A fluffy one.
Jess Navarez, by the way, says that she has one.
Yeah, she was more than ready to go ahead and offer that tutu.
Really quick.
She's like, "Oh, I got one." And I was like,
so, there you go. Sick.
I was like, "You won't need it, but appreciate it."
Yeah, but if we do,
I'll be here early on Monday. I will be here early on Monday.
Oh yeah, dude, we're gonna be up here like easy money.
This in right here.
By the way, this wood needs to be replaced. It hasn't worked out so far.
It does after yesterday.
And by the way, Cowboys Nation. Okay, listen. I don't want him to run for 75 yards because him running for 75 yards will cause a heck of a headache for our defense.
Unless it's like garbage time, which would be great too. I think that would be the ideal scenario.
I agree. Okay. So don't want that to happen, but I definitely want to see him in a tutu. It's just kind of a thing. I need that blackmail for sure.
Haters. You see what they do to me, John?
Haters elevate you.
See this?
You have to have haters in your life, everybody.
You've officially made it once you have haters, right? That's the thing. That's the bet. So if things go down, of course, on the ground on Sunday.
See what you did there? Boom.
Then
gotta shake it before you bake it.
Joshua Dobbs will have Nick Harris wearing a tutu on Sunday. Honestly, I'm with you. I don't think he's having anywhere close to 75 yards on the ground, but it could happen. It certainly could happen.
It's going.
By the way, on Big Facts today, there's a big fact about quarterbacks running. If there was any knock against the Cowboys defense in the first two games, perhaps it's allowing the quarterbacks to get loose on the ground. In 2 games, the Cowboys have allowed 172 rushing yards, 79 of which have been to the quarterbacks. So far, 45% of their opponent's ground game have come from the legs of Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones. Something to watch against Joshua Dobbs, who had a 23-yard rushing touchdown last week against the Giants.
So they listen to our show.
79 total in 2 weeks? Doesn't sound like...
Yeah, but those weren't scripted runs.
Neither would Joshua Dobbs.
Are you serious?
I mean, if the bulk of his rushing action on Sunday will be getting out of the pocket.
All right. I don't disagree with that, but I think that there would be more schemed runs in this one game by the quarterback than there has been in the first 2 games.
I agree with you there. I'm just saying it won't work. Okay. I'm just saying
I hope it doesn't, but I do want to see you in a tutu.
It would be really fun. First bet of the year on Talkin Cowboys. I love it. Friendly bets. All right. A couple over-under, speaking of bets. We're not making any bets. This is not off of any website. This is just for funsies, just to look at what the performances could be from these individual players. Tony Pollard's had 70 yards and 72 yards in the first 2 games.
Over, whatever it is.
71.
Over.
Just the average of right where it is, right in the middle.
I think he gets active early and often, and I think he's going to break off a couple big ones. I think he gets over 100.
Get after it. What do you think?
I give him a 102.
I love it.
Okay. First triple-digit game for Tony Pollard. I'm going to say over 2. I think so. Zach Ertz.
Oof.
He's been active.
Yes.
Turning back the clock a little bit. He's had a pretty good start to the season.
You have the 3-headed monster at safety, though, Kyle. They're back, baby.
3.5 catches, receptions for Zach Ertz.
Ooh.
3.5? Oh, he's going to have 3 catches. 3.5, yeah, absolutely.
So Over?
Yeah, I think he'll have about 7 catches.
Oof, goodness.
Yeah, they're going to feed him. They're going to feed him.
I think he had 6 last week.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They're going to feed the crap out of him.
And they,
did I set this a little too low?
They feed Trey McBride, their other tight end, quite a bit as
Yes,
well.
they
I
do.
think between the two, they had 9 receptions last week and 8 the week before.
And it's hard to tell which one it is, too, because they're pretty similar.
He has 18 targets and 12 receptions already, just for 77 yards and no touchdowns.
Listen,
So it's been very short.
He's going to be hype. His wife just played her last game last night.
Is that true?
Yep. She played her last game last night for U.S. national team. So he's going to be excited.
I'm going to go over as well.
Okay, over on that one. Joshua Dobbs, 1.5 interceptions. So that means, do the Cowboys have 2 picks again?
I don't see 2 picks.
So under for you?
Yeah.
Just smart
He's a
decision making.
He's a smart dude, man.
Okay.
I'm going to say over.
Dun dun dun.
I would love for Deron Bland just to go ahead and get his second one of the year. Playing
What about
that
his
boundary.
second and
That's
his
a fun
third?
fact right there.
That would be fun.
Second, third, fourth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, NFL Network is playing on the TV screen behind us as Dak Prescott making his 100th career start versus the Cardinals on Sunday. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
How about that? Something to look forward to. Congrats, Dak. 100 career starts. How about that?
And he has 400 more to go to catch Nick Eastman.
Speaking of Dak Prescott, so far this year, just 398 yards through the air, 2 passing touchdowns. He hasn't had an interception yet. I'll set the over-under 240 passing yards. I'll do 240 and a half, so that way it's...
I'm going over.
Okay.
I'm going over.
Over 240?
I think everyone gets involved. You get a couple receiver touchdowns finally. Again, Brandon Cooks, I think, has a big day, so I'm going to go over.
Okay.
I don't see it. I think 230-ish, maybe. I'm interested to see how Coach McCarthy schemes things up against this defense. I think this is the style of defense that historically has caused Dak problems. So I'm interested to see if they continue with their getting the ball out their hands quickly, staying true to the West Coast. There was a couple times last week where Coach McCarthy really started trying to. I felt like it was Kellen Moore-ish in terms of start trying to sit in the pocket a little bit longer, push things down the field. I'm hoping that he sticks with the West Coast, get it out your hands quickly, because these guys, they disguise the crap out of their coverages, and Dak has struggled with that in the past.
Do you think CeeDee Lamb gets a receiving touchdown?
Yeah.
0.5 receiving touchdowns for CeeDee Lamb this week.
Yeah.
Sure.
Over. CeeDee Lamb, by the way, the only player in the NFL right now to account for over half of his team's receiving yards in 2023. He's accounting for 55.3% of their receiving totals so far this year. Of course, doesn't have a touchdown yet, but that would be the 4th highest percentage in NFL history if he continues to take up that big of a chunk of the receiving yards through the rest of the way. Only Cowboys player with over 50 receiving yards in 2023. How about that? Tony Pollard, second with 49. So there's some over-unders, something to look forward to coming up on Sunday. Cowboys, Cardinals, 3:25 kickoff on Fox. When we come back, it's time to make some picks. We're going to start looking through the NFL slate. We're going to update the standings. Things got really, really close over the last week, and I'll tell you why. Give us a call. Be our guest picker, 888-855-2297. We'll continue with more Talkin' Cowboys and our pick'ems this week when we come back.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by the Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, and also brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome back in, Nick Harris, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Let's update the standings, shall we?
It's been 2 sad segments for me.
Bring it on now, Nick.
Congratulations, Nick. You got your first regular season non-Cowboys win last week.
Hey.
Nick Harris went 3-3.
Oh, crap.
Great job for Nick.
Mr. 500.
Yep, 500 last week. Currently 4-8 overall in his pick'ems.
Oh, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, long way to go. Long way to go. And then, outside of Nick Harris still bringing up the rear, which has been really the norm the first 2 weeks, is the fact that everything flipped on its head. John and Isaiah did not have a great week.
What?
In week 1.
Oh.
But they both had good weeks in week 2.
That's right.
I had the best week in week 1. I did not have a great week in week 2.
What was your week 2, Kyle?
I had a 3-3 record.
500.
500. So I'm at 7-5 overall. So is Isaiah, who went 5-1 last week. Best week across the board. Great job,
The
Isaiah.
only game that I lost
was the Seattle Seahawks.
Are you freaking kidding me?
They let us all down in week 1. We all picked against them in week 2, and then they won in week 2.
Seahawks.
That's ridiculous.
Never know what you're gonna get.
I can't believe it. So John, Isaiah, and myself were all tied at 7-5.
Let's go.
John went 4-2 last week. The fans also went 4-2, which means the fans have a 1-game lead.
What?
Whoa.
In the Talking Cowboys segments.
Erroneous.
Shout out to Brian in Colorado, Abe in Las Vegas. Abe in Las Vegas, he went 4-2 last week, but he also, I was looking back at our records.
I'm blocking his number.
In the wild card round last year, he went undefeated.
I'm blocking his number.
Abe was the only undefeated champion in terms of the pick'em. So I've got the next one on the line. Let's go with Mario in South Texas. Mario's he's a regular caller. He's done this a couple times. Last time he was on, he went 6-1. We had an extra game that week. He went 6-1. Mario, do you think you can keep that rolling?
No, well, I picked a good week to call in, didn't I, with all the pressure on me in first place.
Yeah, all the pressure, all sorts of it. We have John's picks, by the way. They are in and submitted. Let's start things off with the Falcons and the Lions. Nick, I'll let you start things off.
I'm going to go with the Lions here. Falcons have looked strangely good on defense, so but I'm going to take the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to take Dan Campbell at home all day. Mario, who you got?
I'm actually going to take the Falcons in this one, Kyle. I think the loss of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is going to be huge for that Lions defense.
Okay. Taking the Falcons. What you think?
Solid point.
I think I got to stay with I got to go Lions.
Lions?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lions across the board. Mario picked the Falcons, so we saved it. We're good. We're okay. Chargers at the Vikings. 2 0-2 teams. One of those two teams will be 0-3. Unless they tie somehow. But, of course, I don't think that's happening.
Don't come to me first on this one.
Mario, we'll go to you first on this one.
2 high-power offenses over there. I'm going to go with the team that has a better defense, and that's the Chargers.
Chargers. I think I'm going to go with L.A. on the road here, too. Hostile environment up in Minneapolis. I still think the Chargers get it done. I think they're too good of a team, too talented of a team to start 0-3. I can look at the Vikings and see why they would be 0-3. What do you think, Isaiah?
Yeah, my heart's telling me the Vikings, but I'm going to rock with the Chargers.
Rocking with the Chargers. What you think?
This is a coin flip for me, but since everyone's picking LA here, I'm just going to take the Vikings. Hopefully I get a game back. This is strategy. This is playing defense.
All right. Patriots at the Jets. The last opponent for the Cowboys hosting the next opponent for the Cowboys, of course, after the Cardinals this week. All right. What do you think, Isaiah, on this one?
I'm rocking with Double B.
Bill Belichick?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to rack my brain if there was a Jets Double B somewhere down the line.
By the way, did you see who they picked up?
The Jets?
Yes, Will Greer. Will Greer. He will also be making his return to AT&T Stadium, very under the radar next week. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. Do you think he gets a win this week?
I don't think he gets a win, but I think Mac Jones gets a win.
I'll say the Patriots get the win on the road against the Jets. Mario.
I got to go with Belichick here. He's going to find a way to completely neutralize Zach Wilson. So I'm going Patriots.
All right. Steelers at the Raiders in this one. Two teams still trying to get off to a better start, both at 1-1. I'm going to take the Steelers on the road to get a win in this one. Give me Pittsburgh to pull it out. I liked some of the things I saw from them on Monday Night Football, but I still think they get it done on the road.
I'm going to take the Raiders.
Raiders.
I like the Raiders at home.
Isaiah?
Mike Tomlin. Let's go.
Tomlin all the way. Mario?
Isaiah and I are same page today. The Raiders are somewhat a state of a disarray, so I got to go with the consistency of Mike Tomlin. He's going to have his team ready.
Going with the Steelers. All right, the Eagles at the Buccaneers, two teams that are 2-0. The only meeting of 2-0 teams this week. I never want to pick the Eagles, but I think I'm probably going to pick the Eagles in this one. Yeah, give me Philly getting the win.
I'm with you.
I hate
Fly,
doing
Eagles,
that.
fly.
Yeah. No, God. Why would you ever on this show, in this building, ever do
I gotta
such
get some
a thing?
games back.
What just happened?
Don't ever.
What just happened, Kyle?
He's talking about the North Texas Eagles.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
So that's the only way I'm not jumping across the table right now.
Go
All right, I got to go with the Eagles, of course.
Okay, Mario?
Beamer, you got to edit out that Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I'm sure Beamer's going to clip a still shot of my face on that and make that the thumbnail for the show.
Disappointed. Mario, what do you think?
I'm going the upset here, guys. I'm taking the Buccaneers. The Eagles have been suspect on defense, and I think Baker Mayfield, crazy to say, is going to chop them up.
You know what? I like it, Mario. I like it. Go and pick the Buccaneers. That's a good one.
I like you, but you're crazy.
You crazy. I like it. I think there's a chance there. There's a reason I put it on the list. I think there's a chance the Buccaneers win. I just think Philly's too talented right now. And I think they force Baker Mayfield into multiple mistakes. That's ultimately the case. Now, will they beat the Cowboys? No, they will not. They will get swept by the Cowboys. All right. I'll put that out there right now, and I'm not going to take it back. Cowboys at the Cardinals. Dallas on the road in the desert against Arizona. They go down to State Farm Stadium. It always seems like something crazy happens in Phoenix whenever the Cowboys play the Cardinals. Anything crazy happening this week, Mario? We'll let you start this one out. Cowboys get to 3-0.
Yes, they do. So some crazy things have happened in Arizona, like you've said, but they got the motivation this week. Anybody that's played a lick of football knows that your brother's on the field, and they're going to play for their brother number 7 out there. And that hurt that they're feeling right now is going to turn into rage by Sunday, and unfortunately the Arizona Cardinals is going to be the target of that rage. So saying it with my chest, I got the Cowboys winning 41-15.
Ooh, 41-15. Mario in South Texas doing a great job as always. I hope you get all your picks right. Mario, again, thanks for calling. Thanks for listening to the show and being a loyal listener all the way through. We appreciate you as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All the time, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it,
All right, there he goes. Mario in South Texas, always great. He's always promised us a big Tex-Mex dinner, too. He keeps talking about these enchiladas.
Hey, I will go down to the Valley. That is not a problem.
Yeah, I think we can make it work.
Go see an Edinburgh versus Edinburgh Vea game on a Friday night. Swing by Mario's crib on the way. Have some food.
I'm still mad at you.
Oh.
I'm still mad at you.
I'm taking the boys.
Okay.
I'm taking the boys.
Taking the
I'm going to make up for it. Not only are they going to win, they're going to cover.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the line?
12.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think they cover that too. Yep. What's your final score?
I've said 38-13 this week. I'm going to stick with it, even with Trevon Diggs out. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with it.
38-13. Got it. What you think?
I am my brother's keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that? Micah.
I was about to say,
Micah said, I am my brother's keeper.
It's like, what are we referencing here?
Micah's going to be a little angry.
Yep.
I think they win 27-10.
Okay. 27-10.
Man, the storylines we would have about this offense coming out if they only scored 27 points.
27-10.
Okay. Now,
what would be a confident performance from this offense? How many, like, maybe not points or stats, but like what would make you feel confident coming out of this?
350 plus yards total and balanced attack. Like 150 on the ground, 200 through the air. That sounds great to me.
Getting more guys involved.
That too, yeah. Get a couple receiver touchdowns maybe. One for Lamb, one for Cooks. That would be great.
60% in red zone, 66%, something right there.
That'd be nice too. Yeah.
Red zone would be great.
That would be good. I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. I'm going to take them big, 34-7. Ooh. Dallas on the road. Just get this thing done, get it taken care of, and a big time win for the Cowboys. Our pod picks this week: which player will have the first defensive touchdown, if there is one this week? Defensive touchdown for the Cowboys.
Bobby Boucher?
We'll say non-offensive, so it could be special teams too. So you're going to say Micah or Bobby Boucher?
No, let's if there is a defensive touchdown, why not? Let's go J. Lou, huh?
That would be a storybook thing, huh?
I'll take Jaron Curse.
Jaron. Give me Malik Hooker. I'll take Malik Hooker on the back end. I think he's the one.
How do you think about
he had one a couple
post
times.
Interception running ability? What were your thoughts on that?
On J-Ron? Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Trying to find some open field, shedding off some guys.
What about
Almost
the ball
snuck
security?
in there.
The ball security had
he didn't fumble.
It was very LaShawn McCoy-ish.
Yeah, just straightforward. Yeah, didn't love that one. There you go. Cowboys, Cardinals, 3:25 kickoff Central Time on Fox. That'll be a whole lot of fun for this week 3 of the NFL season. Hope you had as much fun as we did previewing it throughout the week. We'll be back on Monday with 9 a.m. Central Time to break it all down for you following the Week 3 matchup between the Cowboys and the Cardinals. For Chris Beam in the back, Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from the Star in Frisco. We'll see you on Monday with more Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?